channel. Hey, you know what time it is, No Press fam? Welcome everyone to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment and channel where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class, this is my co-host, Biggs, doing it big, baby, and keeping it 100 subs. And as always, if you guys enjoy our content, you know what you could do. You can share, you can like, you can subscribe, or you can turn on your notifications to get the latest episodes, which we put out every week. And today, we're honoring the Green Ranger, Jason David Frank. Now, however you feel about the current situation that had happened, you gotta respect the man for the things he had been for so many children, the example, and how he influenced a lot of great people in a very positive way. So regardless of how you may feel about the circumstances of how he may have come to pass, we are going to miss you, David, or Jason David Frank, sorry. Yeah, this is in honor of him. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I also want to add, on a side note, our heart goes out to those that love him, those who have appreciated him, those who really knew him as a person, and those of his loved ones. I honestly feel really sorry and sympathy for you guys. Hopefully you guys get through this. All the love and support is being channeled through here, and hopefully all the subscribers are also feeling the same way about that. And I'll be representing the Power Rangers Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver. Anyways, let's get into the brief origin stories of Tommy Oliver, shall we? So, Tommy Oliver actually starts off in a martial arts tournament fighting Jason. And both of them are equally tied and are equally matched, and they wind up in a tie and actually show respect for each other at the end of the tournament. Eventually, Kimberly invites Tommy to join and hang out with her crew. But unfortunately, during the tournament, he also was being watched over in another realm by somebody named Rita Repulsa. And she's an evil witch or an evil villain in the Power Rangers franchise. And she observed his skills, Tommy's skills, and decided, I'm going to put him to the test. So she decides to ambush him with a couple of her putties. I think that's what they were called back in the day. And he defeats all of them. She's impressed and decides to reward him by brainwashing him and giving him the coin that has the 6th power of a Power Ranger. And he becomes the Green Ranger. With the mind control that she has over him, he actually starts going against all the Power Rangers. Red Ranger, Yellow Ranger, Green Ranger, the Pink Ranger, the Blue Ranger, all of them. And he actually defeats them on their first try. It wasn't until like later they were able to beat him, and then he was able to get removed off the mind control. But they were so impressed by Tommy, and they really thought Tommy was a good guy, they decided, hey, why don't you join our crew as our 6th member? And that, yeah, is a brief origin story of Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger. Powers, abilities, and feats. Let's get into it, shall we? He has the superhero cocktail. You ready? Super strength, super speed, super durability, super agility. Think Captain America with the super soldier serum. Tongue twister for me sometimes. Okay. Exposed to the energy of the morphing grid, this results in a 20 times to 30 times amplification to their baseline strength, speed, and durability. That's impressive. Once their morphing devices are used to activate their armor, their abilities are increased by another 5 times, and they are downloaded with the knowledge of how to use their weapons and sword vehicles. Yeah, that's right. The helmet gives them the ability to use everything in their arsenal. So we're clear. Dragon Dagger can only be wielded by the Green Ranger, capable of shooting energy blasts and lightning itself. Or lightning itself if you choose to. Create reactive respawn force fields from it. As shown one time when the Red Ranger tried to attack him from behind, and the dagger happened to protect him from a blast. Main use for summoning the Dragon Sword. That's right. Alright. The dragon, so like I said, here are the weapons. Dragon, dagger, you got the sword of darkness, that's an interesting one. The gold shield, and this one's an interesting one I didn't even know and I just learned about, so please bear with me because I haven't watched all the shows. I do not know all the characters, so I'm just gonna say Master Morpher is a pretty cool weapon to have. Now this weapon is capable of turning Tommy into any of the previous Rangers he was. The White Ranger, Green Ranger, and all the other ones, the Red Rangers he was, and other characters from the other shows. Alright, the Dragon Zord. Okay, that itself is going to come in handy because it's 120 feet tall. It weighs 170 tons. It has a strong tail that has a drill attached to it, and it can drill into the earth, probably into the core itself, and he can shoot missiles from its fingertips. That's crazy. Alright, so let's talk about the end game. So, starters, defense, he's got it in the bag because that dagger, as long as he has that around him, is going to be able to protect him against anything Vader might throw at him. If he throws the lightsaber at him with that ability, he can do, or attack him with it, or attack him with any kind of object. He does have that dagger to protect him with that energy field. So anything that comes through him, it's going to come with defense. So he's good to go on that sense. But I do believe for Green Ranger to really win this one, he has to do this one quickly. Quick speed's going to be his favor. Obviously, he has super speed. And obviously, Vader does too. But he has to kind of develop it. It's like you have to kind of form it. He has to form his ability of strength and speed while using the Force. So he has to kind of channel it, while Green Ranger has it in his suit to do it. So he has to go quickly on that. And I think the best way he could put Vader at a disadvantage is obviously eliminating parts of his body that were robotic. Take off a limb. Now, why would I do that? Because obviously it puts Vader at a disadvantage. Vader needs his entire body to be able to throw down with someone. He can still use the Force, but the Force isn't going to keep the Green Ranger away. Green Ranger is super fast. He does have the martial arts capabilities, and he still has his own weapons himself to be able to throw down with Vader. They're magic based, so I do believe that the magic based weapon might be able to hold durability wise against a lightsaber. Okay, so how I think he could use to cut off those limbs or eliminate a part of his body is obviously the Sword of Darkness. That is going to come in handy. It is evil as well, and it also would be able to probably take down someone of evil importance. Then you also have the Dragon Dagger that I also believe could come in handy in a situation, given the fact that it can conduct green energy blast, or it can conduct green energy electricity. Now, Vader has been known to be strong, but against conducted electricity of too much being blown at him, it does overwhelm Vader in a sense. Because obviously, I'm guessing it's because he's half robotic and half human. The Force is strong, but obviously against an electrical current of overwhelmingness, it could overpower him and fry him up in that way. And I do believe Green Ranger's power with the dagger could do something like that, could do that kind of damage, or maybe even just use the dagger to kind of do a direct blow with an electric current shooting right at Vader, and it might be able to penetrate the armor, considering the fact it is a very powerful weapon. It's considered, and the Sword of Darkness is considered one of the most powerful weapons, so I do believe he can also penetrate him with that weapon as well, because yeah, it has been known to do some real damage. Alright, I do believe that Tommy's or Green Ranger's skills is going to be able to evade any kind of attack, direct hits from Darth Vader. Darth Vader isn't what he used to. His body's kind of heavier now with the material he's carrying, so it's not like he's light as a feather like Batman. He can throw around and swing. He has to kind of practice, or he has to use his skills in a different way in order to kind of work with what he got. So I do believe Green Ranger has that to his favor. Alright, so evading a lightsaber attacks probably will come in handy, but not for too long, obviously, because he could eventually just drag him to with his Force ability. So I would say that he would need to, he can evade it, but just for a certain amount of time. Eventually he needs to execute and eliminate him as quick as possible. And then, of course, there is the one thing I want to add on to that note. Master Morpher. The Master Morpher is capable of keeping Tommy in this fight for a long time, because he can switch his Power Ranger suit into different ones. White Ranger, the Red Ranger, the Green Ranger, the one, so he can keep transforming. Even if one of his suits go down, he can always use the other suit and the other suit. I don't believe Vader can last that long against every Power Ranger suit that Tommy has possessed over the years. Alright, and as a wild card, as a Hail Mary, the Dragon Zord. He calls that thing, it's game over for Darth Vader. Because I do believe that Darth Vader is strong of taking down, you know, period things of certain size, but the Dragon Zord is pretty tall and pretty heavy. Vader is strong, but I don't think strong enough to evade or maneuver or control the powers of the Dragon Zord or be able to kind of toss him around. If he gets the Dragon Zord's weapon out of Tommy's hand, maybe that's a possibility. But if he doesn't really know how it works, then the Dragon Zord could attack Vader, and Vader would be in trouble. Yes, he might be able to avoid a few missiles, but not all missiles. He wouldn't be able to avoid the Dragon Zord's foot or attack moves. I do believe that something that big, that massive, would be too overwhelming for Vader to take down. Or it could be the ultimate distraction, so that Tommy could get that ultimate opportunity and just go for a direct blow with his I believe it's called his shadow or evil sword, and just jam it right into his heart, put Vader down in that way, or use the electrical dagger dragon weapon to kind of just shoot it at him, and there you go. Game over for Vader, Green Ranger for the win.
Victorious for my queen!
Alright, brief origin story time. Anakin Skywalker started as a young man, born into slavery, until eventually he gets picked up by the Jedis because they had foreseen his future, or a prophecy where he was going to be the kind of the peacemaker of the galaxy. So they decided to take him under their wing and train him. And who better to train him than Obi-Wan Kenobi during the time? So he trains him to be a great Jedi. But unfortunately, the young man grows up and starts seeing some kind of visions where he sees his new wife that he has and his new child, or his unborn child at the time, dying. So he decided he needs to find a way to save them. So he goes to the dark side, and he gets the power from Lord Sith. And Lord Sith gives him the power he needs in order to protect his loved ones, I guess. They wipe out the entire Jedi people, and only until there was like Obi-Wan Kenobi left, and I believe Yoda. Anyways, Obi-Wan and Anakin have a falling out. They fight till pretty much the end, where Anakin is literally burned and limbs are missing, parts are missing of his body. He is defeated. The only reason why he's still alive is because of the Force. And I believe his name is Lord Sith. I'm not really too familiar with the names of every Star Wars character. I'm just trying to go based on Darth Vader's story. But anyways, he finds him, and then he brings him back to his base, and he starts building his body up, making him half human and half robotic. And this whole tragedy of losing, by the way, at some point he loses his wife. And because of that, and he thinks he lost his son, I believe, as well, he decides that he is going to go deeper into the dark side and become the most fierce villain in the galaxy, Darth Vader. And that's a brief origin story of Darth Vader. Darth Vader. Darth Vader. Sorry. I'm saying it all weird. Okay, powers, abilities, and feats. Let's get into it. He has the fence sphere. It's a blue-like energy shield that can help him from almost any attack. He can turn invisible. He has accelerated healing factor. He has energy absorption. Of course, he has the red lightsaber. That's one of the most fierce weapons out there. He can cut through anything like butter. He has the force repulse. Now this is interesting. It's concentrated on force. He was able to violently push outwards, creating rapid, expanding kinetic energy that can ripple in space, disintegrating anything it touches. That is wild, right? Okay, force crush. He can crush a man's body, literally just lifting him up in the air and just crushing him. It's crazy. Force rage. It amplifies his strength on all levels, meaning he has super strength, super speed. He also can move at a really great speed if this force is amplified. Okay, if his force rage is amplified. He's capable of lifting anything, pretty much any pretty big objects. Believe it was a stormtrooper bot or whatever. I don't know what they call that thing, that big giant thing that has 4 legs. He was able to break that down easily. Was able to choke a man out by using the force. So yeah, Darth Vader, and he took down Luke Skywalker in the franchise. So Darth Vader ain't nobody to mess with. Let's just say this guy has done so many feats, it's scary. He's capable of throwing his lightsaber and blowing down a ship. He's capable of choking someone out. He's capable of creating fields that blow an entire anything out of in its rage. This man is nobody to mess with. Let's not forget he's also a master in swordsmanship, clearly, and he is a master Jedi. He's also a very, I guess you would say, a very master in martial arts in some ways. Alright, so the end game. His fence sphere is going to be enough to protect him from any kind of a real direct attacks from Tommy. Also, the fact that he can literally lift anything big and giant and throw it at him is also going to be a big problem for Tommy, because, I mean, Tommy's strong, but how strong are we talking here? Enough to hold an attack back from the Force while it's a giant object? I don't really think so on that way. The lightsaber is able to pretty much penetrate through metal, any kind of object. Magic base, I don't know, but I gotta believe that at some point it's gonna give. The lightsaber is incredibly strong, incredibly durable. It's not easy to penetrate, it's not easy to break unless you probably somehow break the handle or you take it out of his hand, which is impossible to get out of Darth Vader. So if he's got the lightsaber and he keeps attacking Tommy with it, or Green Ranger with it, it's not gonna. I think it's gonna do a lot of damage. Let's face it, that armor that the Green Ranger is wearing is not going to be enough to protect him from the lightsaber. His weapons are probably going to hold for a while, but after a while it's going to give, and then eventually Darth Vader's just going to take advantage of that. Either way, he has the Force and the weapon to keep him long-lasting in this battle. The Green Ranger gets a blow on Darth Vader. Let's not forget he has that accelerating healing factor, so even if he gets attacked, he's going to get back up in the situation against someone like Green Ranger in this problem. So accelerating healing factor is going to help him in a big way during this fight. He can also turn invisible. You might not have seen it in the movies, but I believe in the comics it shows that he does turn invisible. So he is capable of turning invisible, which gives him the opportunity to do the element of surprise against Tommy. I don't believe the helmet can track heat sensors or anything like that, or heat detection. I do believe that Vader could just turn invisible, and then when Tommy doesn't see it coming or the Green Ranger doesn't see it coming, Darth Vader could just easily come surprise him and then hit him with that blow with that lightsaber attack. 2 points I will make for Vader at this point. Let's talk about the Force Repulse. If he nails that, if he uses it in a moment's notice, let's say Green Ranger's down for a moment and Vader decides to channel energy and use it, he could take him, he's going to wipe him out. That's it. Even if he has the Dragon Zoid or whatever Dragon Zord in his corner, it's not going to do anything against a blast that could take out practically everything in its path. So yeah. And then another fun note, even if, let's say, Darth Vader couldn't just choke him to death, or he couldn't just really beat him or get rid of his weapons out of his hands, let's say he couldn't do any of those things, there's this one little thing we forget. Tommy was able to be mind controlled in the first episode. So his first episode to get in the franchise. So Darth Vader is capable of mind controlling people too, thanks to the Jedi Force, or thanks to the Force. Sorry, to the dark side Force. So let's say he can actually control Tommy's mind. So if he gets Tommy's mind, guess what that means? It's over for Tommy, for Green Ranger, because Tommy was influenced before by evil, so it could happen again. So Darth Vader could easily remove his weapons, could have him disarm himself, could have him just use the dagger and take himself, or he could just have him stand still while he just jams the blade into him. Either way it goes about it, Vader has this for the win. As always, No Press fam, it's not up to me. It's not up to Biggs. It's up to you guys. So if you guys liked my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag the Green Ranger. And if you guys like my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Darth Vader. And as always, No Press fam, we really appreciate you guys. Catch you guys later. Peace.